Hey, hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, 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 hey. Hey, what's up? What's going on? How are you? Hey, what's going on? Yeah, how y'all doing? Yep, I'm back. How's it going, folks? I know you're probably gearing up for the weekend and getting ready to do your so what's going on? How you doing? Yeah, I know. It's all about that. Yep. Hello. What's up?
Hey everybody! I saw you went live earlier today.
People.
Sorry. I saw you went live earlier today while I was at work.
Actually be in the group chat with us, so we just use it as a video chat, and we do it like that.
Yeah.
We sort of hang out. That's what we do.
Yep.
that's what we do. Cause hey, I mean, if no one but crazy people come in here, then they might as well not be. They might as well not bother. But it's all good. I was just Hey, Colin.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually see that. Yes.
Uh, Hope you're all having a nice Saturday night so far.
Yeah. Well, it's all right so far, buddy boy.
I
It's been all right.
today during one of my breaks, I bought some mini chocolate cookies from the Costco bakery.
Yeah. I was hanging out with Savannah today online. That's what we do now because, well, since nobody comes to our broadcast and causes trouble, we feel as though, hey, why don't we just hang out?
Yep.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I
Guess
mean,
what, Rain? I guess you haven't
what's
heard. There's some controversy surrounding James Gunn's Superman movie. Apparently, the family estate of the two guys who originally created the Superman character and so are now suing Warner Brothers. Oh, because apparently because of previous copyrights that were put on the character decades ago are apparently being violated by certain things that are going on with James Gunn's Superman movie, and now the state is trying to stop the James Gunn's new Superman movie from being released in certain places.
Well,
Yeah,
that is
because of copyright, because of certain copyrights that were put on the Superman character decades ago by by the family by the family estate who of the two guys who created the original Superman character.
that is their right, man. You
Yeah,
can't debate it.
and in my opinion, the the version of Superman that James Gunn is planning on giving us, it just seems too cartoony to me. It just seems
Yeah,
and his costume is literally just the New 52 Superman costume, but with the Kingdom Come Superman symbol on the front of it. That's all. That's what it is. Yeah, if you look at it and look at side by side with a picture of the New 52 Superman costume, you'll notice they look exactly the same except for the different symbol.
yeah.
And
See,
obviously, you can tell that for his new DC universe, he's taking a lot of inspiration from the DC animated TV universe. That includes Batman the animated series, Justice League the animated series, Justice League Unlimited, and also Superman the animated series, and all those, and also Teen Titans, and like you just
my
tell
life was
because, and
my life was Superman.
that in my opinion, that's a bad idea that he's doing that um because giving him like bright costumes like that, like giving him Superman very bright colored suit like that doesn't really translate well to live action every time. I mean, sometimes it can look too cartoony on camera or like look like a bad cosplay. Like I remember when they released the first image of David Cornsweet in full costume as Superman. I remember so many people were saying online that it literally looked like a really bad cosplay. It did.
Well,
Even the guy, even one of the guys who worked on Man of Steel thought it was bad. Thought it looked bad. Yeah, in my opinion, they did a better job with Superman's suit for the Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman done Justice League than James Gunn's Superman suit because it was realistic and actually looked like something that could be cut from an alien planet.
I don't know. It's just that I really can't tell
If you look and also the problem with David Cornsweet is that he's not big and bulked up like buff enough for Superman. He still looks too slim. Even though he went and bulked up for the role, he still ended up looking too slim still. I mean, Henry Cavill literally when Henry Cavill played Superman, he literally put in all the work and effort to literally look the part, like even like doing all the weightlifting and stuff to give himself the full on Superman body that Superman has in the comics. I mean, if you look at Henry Cavill, literally looks like Superman. David Cornsweet just looks like a Henry Cavill knockoff dressed as Superman. Yeah,
it's like I don't know. I mean, they do have that right to, they do have that right to legally enforce the copyrights on their character.
Yeah, and the fact that these copyrights were placed on the character decades ago, it's crazy.
Disney, when the character was sold, right?
To DC Comics, or as what they were called back then, Detective Comics. But when Superman, Action Comics, originally.
When the Superman character transitioned over to DC Comics, which is they should have. If James Gunn was going to use this character, they should have researched the copyrights and dealt.
Yeah, but this obviously didn't pop up until recently. This copyright violation. It didn't pop up until yesterday, actually. And guess what? You probably didn't know this, but when the Superman character was first created by those two guys decades ago, who ended up selling the rights of the character to Detective Comics, when they first created a character, he was more like Lex Luthor, actually. He was actually originally bald and was like originally a criminal mastermind bent on world domination. And yeah, I know this because I remember reading about it a long time ago when I was younger, and when apparently he was originally before DC Comics bought the character and turned him into Superman that we all know. Originally, he was a bald criminal mastermind that that resembled Lex Luthor, but that was basically what Lex Luthor ended up being.
Originally, Superman that I ran into, the rendition of Superman that I ran into when I was a kid was how can I say it? He was the Superman we didn't know. He was the kind of guy that if he caught you committing a crime, you were dead. That's it.
Yeah. Which Superman was this?
This was the Superman that came to the United States during World War I and II. He was based on he had the look of Hermann Goering, but he had Hitler's attitude.
Yeah. You see everybody, and so basically David Cornsweet literally just looks. It might be in David Cornsweet. Looks like a Henry Cavill knockoff. I mean, James Gunn obviously casted him because of the fact that he resembles Henry Cavill.
But the Superman you had, that bald-headed dude, was not the original Superman. The original Superman in the original Superman suit was based off of a German uniform.
No, I'm talking about the version of Superman that was from before when the character was first created and before he was sold to DC Comics.
This is the one that was back before DC Comics while it was wartime. This is the Superman.
And anyway,
I mean, that guy. I can understand why people wanted to literally burn down DC Comics.
Yeah, and
literally. Hello, Junko. What's up? How you doing? How's it going, Junko? What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, my Superman. And what's great is, guess what, Ray? You probably didn't know this, but one of the Clark Kent outfits that Henry Cavill wears as Clark Kent in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice is literally based on an outfit that he wore, that Clark Kent wore in a 1980s Superman comic book that actually had him reporting the news for the Daily Planet. Yeah, that brown suit that he wears in some scenes of Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, it was literally taken from that. In fact, I'll show you. Yeah, if I can find. I know this because remember that big book of comic books I told you about that I used to check out from the elementary school library when I was a kid. That was full of tons and tons of old comic books, including actually I'm talking about the other one, the one that was all about Superman comics. There was literally a comic book story in it that actually showed Clark Kent literally wearing the suit that he's literally shown wearing in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Yeah. Crazy, yeah. And remember that scene in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice where Clark Kent is talking to Perry White, and Perry White literally says no one cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman. Well, the plaid outfit that Henry Cavill is wearing as Clark Kent in that scene was actually part of this outfit that I'm talking about. It actually went with it. I don't remember the name of the specific Superman comic book that this outfit was taken from, because it was one I read when I was just a little kid in elementary school. Yeah.
Hello, Sammy. What's up? How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing great.
There was even a story. I remember there was even I remember this Superman, this big book full of nothing but old Superman comic books so vividly that I even remember that it even showed certain comic book book covers from different Superman comic books in it too. And one of them literally showed Clark Kent literally hanging from a ledge of a window on outside of the Daily Planet and about to be saved by Superman, and basically being confused because he's like, wait a minute, At this whole time, have I been thinking I was Superman, but I'm not? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing for him. I could see that.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to find that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can find that exact comic book that she showed.
I'm just saying.
It has the exact that shows Superman wearing that outfit. It's
Okay, what are you saying? I think it's catch the dinner down. we had dinner. I'm sorry. We don't think nothing. We had the dinner tonight. Anything else, I gotta go out there and kill. Bring it home and fry it up in the pan.
So what's going on?
What's funny? This is one I found. This one is what's funny is there have been many times where I've looked for this
Okay, that's all I can offer.
for this but this exact comic but before online. Oh, I just look. Oh, speaking of weird comic book covers, I just found one another odd one online just now that apparently has Clark Kent as a hero and Superman as a public menace. Look. See it?
Yeah, and I see. Andy, what's up? This.
And these were like some of these were like old comics too, like.
Yeah, I figure. Since I was on here with Savannah earlier, I was gonna just do it live. We're not gonna.
What the heck? Here's one from 1972 that literally has Clark Kent down on his knees in front of Superman, and Clark Kent and Superman saying, "Calm down, Clark Kent. I'll protect you." And Clark Kent saying, "No, you can't. My killer's here. The one person not even you can stop, Superman." This is another confusing one. What? And it's from 1972, it says.
You know what? I can see why they enforced that copyright thing, because you know what? It's certain things that they went against the hero the code of conduct for the character. I can see why they did that.
Randy, you know that one I was just telling you about where Superman Clark Kent was literally hanging down from the ledge outside of the daily plan and about to be saved by Superman? Look, I just found that exact comic book cover just now. It's the exact same one.
Yeah, it's the exact same.
Except when I saw it a long time ago in that big book full of Superman comics, it was not colored, the version of it that I saw. It was literally just all white. It was all white. It looked like it was an uncolored version of it. But that's the exact one. And this is another one I saw in that big book of Superman comics. This is another weird one. Look, do you see it?
Yeah, I see. But that's weird. That is so weird because you barely.
These things are confusing as hell. I mean,
it's confusing, but what I'm saying is It's confusing, but it's not confusing to us who grew up with the Superman character. The
Yeah,
Superman.
like I yeah. So I can. Isn't it crazy how you're way older than me, but I actually still grew up reading the really old Superman comic books
The comic
that
books
you grew up
comic
with.
books that the comic books you're reading or read when you were a kid. I've already read them. I mean, I
Yeah, that's
already
crazy
seen
though
them.
that you're way older than me, but I still end up reading this a lot of the ones that you grew up with though.
I know. I mean, most kids wouldn't read them. I mean, most young people wouldn't read them. That's the thing. They don't. They don't. I mean, even the Green Lantern comic books that I find online,
What
people won't.
the? Here's another odd one that has a called Superman, a great imaginary novel featuring Lex Luthor Kent as Clark Kent's brother. What?
Oh
Look
my
at it.
god. Oh my god. Come on.
Look, Lex Luthor getting dressing up as Clark Kent and saying, "Go on with your mission, Superman. I hear Lois coming, but I'll disguise myself in your Clark Kent clothes so she won't suspect your double identity."
Oh
What?
god. How is this
Yeah.
possible? Now
It
you see
makes
why
me
they
wonder. It makes me wonder what some of these comic book writers were thinking back in these days, man.
where these
We're
guys were
writing, making, like, what were they thinking releasing some of these confusing Superman store storylines that are, yeah.
yeah,
I
but I'm
mean,
saying
literally, storylines where
when
Clark Kent is just, where Clark Kent is not Superman. and then and
oh yeah,
storylines
talk.
where, yeah, it's weird.
Go ahead.
Hmm. Yeah, I do wonder what some of these comic book writers were thinking back in these days, writing some of these really odd Superman storylines. So,
Nah, but now you see why they enforce the copyright because they got the stuff
yeah,
to do that the guys didn't mean it to do.
yeah, and guess what? I heard that when the James Gunn Superman movie was getting some bad test screens, I heard that they were people were actually felt that it seemed more like Captain America: The First Avenger than Superman in a Superman movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good, son. And in my opinion, if it's a Superman movie, why are there so many other superheroes in it? I mean, it's supposed to be a Superman movie. Why do you need other hero multiple heroes in it? And guess what, Ryan? You probably know this, but one of the comic book storylines that Zack Snyder used as inspiration for Man of Steel was actually Superman Earth 1. Did you know that? And this is a comic book I've actually read before, actually. In fact, when I was younger, when I was in high school, I actually checked it out in the library the nearby public library a couple times. It's actually a pretty good comic book, and it's like very cinematic. And looking, has a very cinematic look to it. Kind of its cinematic look kind of reminds me of comic book art by Alex Ross a little bit, because Alex Ross's artwork is known for being very cinematic looking.
But what I'm saying is, man, why go through all that? Wow.
I mean, in my opinion, James Gunn, in my opinion, every time James Gunn does a superhero movie now, he's pretty much just makes it do the same thing they did with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is just picking just one big superhero team up movie. And it doesn't help the fact that James Gunn's Superman movie also gives off vibes of the Christopher Reeve Superman movies a little bit too. I mean, the reason why Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice actually worked, even though they were given a lot of criticism, is because they were very well made, and they captured what Superman would actually be like in real life. How people would react, how real life people would react to someone like Superman, being on Earth. Like how a lot of people would see him as a threat because of him being an alien with so much power. And that was basically Henry Cavill's whole approach to playing the character. Like, basically portray him as a guy who happens to be an alien, but how he would be seen in real life, though, which is as a threat to some people, and him having to constantly deal with the media, social media, like the news and the government and stuff.
I mean, it was always something with him.
I mean, Christopher Reeve's Superman worked really good for it the time that it was made, which was 1978 and some of the 80s. But for Superman to work in live action, in a live action movie, he has to be able to adapt to modern times with modern times. Henry Cavill Superman did a great job of that. Like, Henry Cavill really understood what Superman would be like in real life, like as a real person. Like how he would feel, and how unhappy he would be because of so many people seeing him as a threat and stuff.
I agree.
And also Henry Cavill Superman also literally looks so much like the Alex Ross Superman. I mean, that the resemblance is insane. I mean, they even gave, in fact, and guess what, Randy, you probably didn't know this, but the hairstyle that they gave Superman in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice is actually the hairdo that Superman has in Kingdom Come. Did you know that?
Yep. But
Yes, you look at the exact hairdo. Like, I mean, even when Henry Cavill frowns, he looks just like the Alex Ross Superman. I mean, in my opinion, Superman Returns was a good Superman movie, but it's an okay Superman movie, but it's also boring. And the problem with Superman Returns is that it's supposed to be set in the same universe. It's set in the same universe world as the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, so it's supposed to be part of that Superman lore, but it's also set in modern time. You know, modern cars and people have cell phones and stuff, and they don't explain why. They don't explain why it's set in modern times, even though it's supposed to be a sequel to the Christopher Reeves movies. Have you ever noticed that? Like, they don't really explain why Superman Returns is set in modern times, but even though it's supposed to be a sequel to the Christopher Reeves Superman movies. Like,
I know.
In my opinion, they should have just made it a period piece, set in the 1980s or at least the early 1990s, since Superman 3 and Superman 4 were both in the 80s, were made in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, they could have just had set in the 90s, which would have made more sense. But no, instead they had set in 2007. And I remember seeing it in theaters and liking it. But there were some things I didn't like about, like the fact that it ignores the fact that Lex Luthor has been to the Fortress of Solitude before in the events of Superman. I think it was in Superman 4. But they ignore that in Superman Returns. I mean, they hint at it. He's been there before, but they don't really expand on it. I mean, in my opinion, though, Kevin Spacey was a great Lex Luthor. Definitely better than Jesse Eisenberg's version from Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Literally, if you think about it, Jesse Eisenberg's version was literally just based on a ripoff of Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, which is ironic because Jesse Eisenberg actually played Mark Zuckerberg in that movie, The Social Networks. Yeah, it was just a ripoff of Mark Zuckerberg. It just seemed like a ripoff of Mark Zuckerberg, even though Jesse Eisenberg's version is technically based on that one version of Lex Luthor who was so smart that he was too smart to even be in college, and was like also autistic. Yeah.
The thing that got me about that was Superman destroyed the Fortress of Solitude at the end of Superman 2. He did.
Yeah, except then he somehow rebuilt it though, because at the end of the movie, when he had his final battle with General Zod, it looks like the Fortress of Solitude somehow looks normal, like nothing happened to it. That's probably because they think they did it because they think Superman. I think Superman just used a Kryptonian crystal to repair the fortress or something.
Even in the comic book of Superman 2, where they mention the Kryptonian criminals, their names aren't Zod, Nan, and Urza. They're Logar, Hall, and Rumba.
Yeah.
They were three guys. And Logar, the leader, Logar, had a wife named Mala, who was a combat soldier. And she was constantly looking for battles. And Jor-El sentenced her to the Phantom Zone because she threatened to kill Supergirl's father, the inventor of the Phantom Zone projector.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, I decided I'm gonna sing a song for all of you. This is one I haven't done in a long time, though. It is it's gonna be the song "Chasing Cars" by Snow Patrol. A song for all of you. This is one I have. All right. Yeah. Let me find a good version of it, though. I've done a long time, though. It is that's gonna be. But speaking of changing cars, that song "Chasing Cars," Randy, did you know that there's actually two completely different versions of the music video for that song? The original music video was released in 2007. It was actually released in 2007, but apparently the music producer in studio didn't like the original music video, so they had to go and create a full on new music video for the song, which is the one that they ended up releasing in 2008. The one that we all know. The one that we've all seen. The one that has him sitting in a coffee shop, and also him lying on the floor and stuff. There's actually two completely different versions of the music video for that song. Yeah. The original. Yeah. Here it is. No, not good version. That's not a good version. There used to be a really good version of that cover, a really good karaoke version of that song on YouTube. But I can't find it.
Texas was paying the price.
Not good for him. Here. We'll do it on everything on our own. We don't need anything or anyone. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? I don't quite know how to say how I feel. Those three words are said too much. They're not enough. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're done before we get to show me a garden that's bursting into life. Let's waste time chasing cars around our head. I need your brain to remind me to find my own. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we've done before we get to show me a garden that's bursting into life. All that I am, all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. I don't know where, confused about how as well. Just know that these things will never change for us at all. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Okay, that was a little song for you guys.
For you guys.
I'm just saying, it was like too much.
What?
The thing with the Disney and the Superman thing, that it just went
What?
too far. The thing with them, with Disney, the thing with the guys contesting the copyright, I don't think they would have did that had they would have stuck to the morals clause that
Yeah,
govern the
I mean, and Warner Brothers, in my opinion, Warner Brothers should just bring back Zack Snyder and let him finish the Snyderverse, because he did reveal that he was planning on having Henry Cavill Superman become the Superman that we all know, the light-hearted Superman that we all know, full of hope, like in the second Justice League, in the second Justice League movie, which was gonna be in that his original plans was there was gonna be 3 Justice League movies. Justice League Part 1, which was gonna have them meet and fight Steppenwolf, and them going, and the second one, which was gonna have them going to Darkseid's world, and then the third one, which was going to have them face off against Darkseid himself, and that they revealed that in the the third one, Superman, Henry Cavill Superman was supposed to originally become the more like the Superman that we all know from the comics, who is light-hearted and is full of hope and stuff. Because remember, the Man of Steel was supposed to be Superman's origin, and Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice was supposed to be his death, and Justice League was supposed to be his resurrection. And yeah, because remember his death in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice was actually taken from the Death of Superman storyline. The storyline where Superman gets killed while fighting Doomsday. Yeah, in my opinion, once they got rid of Zack Snyder, Ray, the DC Extended Universe ended up going downhill. I mean, remember how they messed up the look of Gotham City in the Harley Quinn movie, like because they let Margaret Robbie choose all the filming locations, and she ended up choosing like iconic Los Angeles locations for Gotham City, basically making Gotham City look like Los Angeles instead of what it's supposed to look like, which is a dark and gritty, corrupt city like New York. Imagine, yeah. I mean, I remember watching the movie and thinking, the whole time I was thinking, what the hell? This is not Gotham City. What the heck is this? Like Ray, how did you react when you saw what they did to Gotham City in the Harley Quinn movie? How did you react, Ray? Hello, Ray?
Yeah, what's up?
I just asked you, like, how did you react when you first saw how much they messed up the look of Gotham City in the Harley Quinn movie? When they made it look like Los Angeles.
I started watching it, but then I got bored and went to do something else.
Yeah, like guess what? Yeah, just because you wanna know why it looked like Los Angeles instead of Gotham
Because
City? Because they let
because-
Margaret Robbie choose all the filming locations, and she decided to choose iconic downtown Los Angeles locations. Yeah, that's literally what happened. They let her choose all the filming locations for the movie, and because of this, they ruined Gotham City. They made it look like Los Angeles with its palm trees. I'm like thinking, this is not Gotham City. Everyone knows that Gotham City is would be a dark and gritty city that Gotham City was literally based on what New York City is like at night, you know, and Metropolis was basically based on what New York City is like during the day, you know,
yeah, I was,
and how. And
I
guess what,
wonder.
Rand? You know that turns out Robert Pattinson. And isn't it crazy how Robert Pattinson's Bruce casting as Batman actually worked really well? Isn't it crazy that Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne was actually really good? That his Batman was actually really good.
Yeah, I gotta admit, the Harley Quinn movie made me kind of bored.
And one thing that really pissed me off about the Harley Quinn movie is the fact that even though it's also about the Birds of Prey, there was no Batgirl. Everyone knows that in the comic books, Barbara Gordon's is like literally a founding member of the Birds of Prey. She wasn't even in the movie. Anyone know why she wasn't in the movie? Because they wanted to keep her because they wanted they wanted to keep her for the movie so they could use her for that Batgirl movie that ended up not being released. You know, the terrible Batgirl movie that they really filmed, made, and edited, and that was ready for the release, but was shelved instead of released because of how woke it was. Yeah, I heard it was so woke that Batgirl was gonna be that Barbara Gordon was gonna be a lesbian in it. Yeah, literally. Yeah, I heard that it was all that. Yeah, and my heard something. Why would you do this to a Batman movie? You one that's about Batgirl. Why would you do this? Because we all know that the only version of Batgirl who's a lesbian in the comics is Batwoman, who is Bruce Wayne's niece. Yeah. Why would you do this? Yeah, seriously, what are your thoughts on that? Why would they do that? We all know that making a Batman movie woke does not work at all. Hey, Ray, you want to see how much Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne actually looks like comic book versions of Bruce Wayne? Look at this. See a resemblance? Do you see it? Ray, you looking? Ray, are you looking? Ray, are you there? Ray, are you there?
Yeah,
Like, is it like? Look at this. Look at this. Look how much Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne actually resembles certain modern comic book versions of Bruce Wayne. Look at this. Isn't the resemblance insane? Look at this. Crazy, isn't it, Ray?
It is, but this is the thing. This is the thing. The like the Harley Quinn movie, it didn't really keep my interest.
Yeah, and the problem with it is that it should have just been about only about Harley Quinn. They should have made Birds of Prey a completely separate movie from it. So they could have actually used Barbara Gordon in it like they should have done. And in my opinion, they should have had someone else choose all the filming locations for it instead of Margaret Robbie, because letting her choose the filming locations was obviously a bad choice because of her, Gotham City looked nothing like it was supposed to. Well, like, here's another example of how much Robert Pattinson looks like the comic book version of Bruce Wayne. Look at this. Isn't that crazy? Like, it's like he was born to play a modern version of the character.
Yeah, but yeah,
And remember, everybody, Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne was actually based mostly on Kurt Cobain. Do you know that, Ray? Yeah, his Bruce Wayne was actually based on Kurt Cobain mostly. Yeah, Matt Reeves, director Matt Reeves revealed that he casted Robert Pattinson because Robert had the perfect look for Bruce Wayne, and the reason why Robert Pattinson has that shaggy hair look in the Batman movie is because they were going for a Kurt Cobain hairdo for him. Like, they want, like, yeah. And I can't wait for Robert Pattinson's second Batman movie. Guess what, Randy? There's talks about the character Hush possibly being the main villain in the second Robert Pattinson Batman movie. What do you think of that? Or even the Court of Owls possibly being the main villains. Guess what, right? Look, someone actually made a comparison of Christian Bale's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, and Robert Pattinson's Batman. Turns out that Christian Bale's Batman was realistic, symbolic, stealthy, and strategic. Ben Affleck's Batman was comic accurate, brutal, combatant, and brooding, which is basically what Batman should be. And Robert Pattinson's Batman was dark, intimidating, a detective, and grounded. It's crazy how so many actors can come along and play Batman, but bring something new to the character that hasn't been seen before. Isn't that crazy? Because there's so many things you can. There's so many ways you can interpret how Batman is. Because, like, he's such a complex character. I mean, he's a very he's a guy. He's a man he's a man with a darker side. He can be brooding. He can be very calm, and he could be very intimidating. Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne was a great realistic Bruce Wayne, and And but in my opinion, Ben Affleck's Batman is the most comic book accurate version that we've gotten on in live action so far. Like, don't you think that Ben Affleck's Batman was extremely comic book accurate, Ray? Someone made a meme about Robert Pattinson being Bruce Wayne, which says this has a caption: in order to prepare for his role as the broody and depressed Batman, Robert Pattinson spent 14 years being known as the guy from Twilight. That's funny though. Isn't that how basically the Twilight movies basically predicted that Robert Pattinson would play Batman one day? I mean, it's literally in the Twilight movies, Robert Pattinson basically plays a vampire. Vampires have something to do with bats. And what does Batman keep as pets in the Batcave? Bats. Isn't that ironic, Renee? Though? Isn't that kind of ironic, Randy? Isn't that kind of ironic, though, how the Twilight movies basically predicted that he would play Batman one day? Guess what, Rain? I just stumbled upon an online article about Robert Pattinson's Batman from 2023. And guess what? It says Robert Pattinson's Batman universe just confirmed Superman's Metropolis existence again. A new comic set in Reeves and Pattinson's universe makes mention of Clark Kent's home city. But guess what? When Matt Reeves was promoting the first Batman movie that starred Robert Pattinson, he was actually asked about whether or not we would ever see Superman show up in the universe that Robert Pattinson's Batman existed. And guess what? He always said the same thing, which was that Robert Pattinson's Batman is set in a very realistic universe where Superman wouldn't really work as a character. And now there's saying that there's strong possibilities that Robert Pattinson's Batman might turn out to be the official Batman of James Gunn's new DC universe, and that's why the second Batman movie keeps getting delayed, and why they're still making changes to the script. What are your thoughts on that, Ray? In my opinion, they should just go and make Robert Pattinson the official Batman of James Gunn's DC universe, because it makes too much sense for them not to. Because why should they go and recast the character for James Gunn's DC universe when Warner Bros. Already has someone playing Batman already in an upcoming Batman movie directed by Matt Reeves. I mean, Ray, don't you think that they should just go make Robert Pattinson the James Gunn the official Batman of James Gunn's DC universe? Guess what, Ray? I just found another online article about Robert Pattinson's Batman. And it turns out it actually lists the different inspirations things that were used as inspiration for Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. Like the first one is Noir novels. Director Matt Reeves has made very clear that the Batman at its core is going to be a detective story. The Dark Knight has always held the title of the world's greatest detective, but that aspect of the hero has rarely been explored on the big screen. That will seemingly be elevated in the upcoming film. While Batman stories throughout time have owed a lot of the Noir knowledge of yore, the Batman feels like it is taking a little more inspiration from the literary Noir world. These classic novels emanate from the eternally gray and grainy world, one in which crime has all but taken over the city streets. Hence of this subgenre can be seen throughout what fans have been seen of the film so far, whether it is the actual look of Robert Pattinson's Cape Crusader or just the color grading on the release footage. This movie exudes those shades of gray and black that Noir novels are known for. Sure, there are brighter moments like the sunrise shared between Selina and Bruce, but that brief moment of respite will surely come just before the dirt and grime of this world hit the camera once again. Slasher movies. Yeah, apparently slasher movies were also an inspiration for it, Ray. This inspiration has only just been mentioned by minds behind the Batman, while the evidence has been seen on screen since the first footage for the DC film debate. It seems clear that the slasher movies such as Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street all played a part in helping to craft this Batman world. And while these masked killers have provided inspiration in the crafting of Batman's villains for years, what a Batman differs is that their inspiration can actually be seen in the movie's hero. Pattinson's Bruce Wayne had a couple of moments in the release trailers that feel straight out of a Wes Craven horror classic. Thus, the sequence from the DC Fandom 2021 trailer where, after toppling the Penguin's vehicle, the Bat marches towards the wreckage as flames emerge behind him, or the hallway shot seen a couple of times now in the featurettes and trailers where all the viewers gets are glimpses of Batman amid muzzle flashes as he menacingly walks into danger. If it weren't for Batman's golden no killing rule, this version of the hero would feel straight out of those slasher movie classics. Batman the Animated Series. Sure, Batman the Animated Series has served as a sacred text for the Batman stories going forward. The Batman is looking to be the closest to the animated series coming to live action that DC fans have gotten yet. The influence in the 90s cartoons is most evident in the design of Gotham this time around. Instead of the realistic city streets seen in the Dark Knight trilogy, these things are here feel a little more like a modern comic book. The buildings are larger. There is neon everywhere. The sea feels like reality just turning up to 11. The look of the animated series Gotham City was one with towering skyscrapers bigger than ever could be possible, with lights constantly raking through the foe and shadows. These are pieces that Matt Reeves and the band crew have taken and brought to life without going overboard. And having something akin to the Batman Forever's over the top Gotham, it feels like reality just elevated a touch. Batman Year One. This one was an obvious one to me. Former Batman stories, Batman Year One played a big part in the making of the Batman. Director Matt Reeves has made clear that this is not a Year One story, but one that does honor the legacy of one of the Dark Knight's greatest comic stories of all time. While not being an origin per se, the Batman does center on his Tyler hero very early on in his crime-fighting career. This is very similar to where comic book readers find Bruce Wayne in the character of Gotham City in Batman Year One. Audiences will be introduced to a young Bruce Wayne and a young Commissioner Gordon, all before some of the biggest Batman foes make themselves known. Sure, this is more a Year Two story, but the influence of Year One can be felt in every aspect of the Batman film. Okay, this next one is one that I've already known for a long time, that I've known about even back when when Robert Pattinson's Batman movie was still being filmed, right? David Fincher's Seven. While never having worked on the Batman, David Fincher's fingerprints can be seen all over this take on the Dark Knight. Like Alfred Hitchcock's like Psycho before him, Fincher has mastered the art of the thriller with modern classics like Zodiac, Seven, and Gone Girl. This filmmaker has become beloved by cinephiles everywhere, but where can his influence be felt in the Batman? Well, other than this take on Batman's story, very much feeling more like a thriller than ever before, the Fincher effect can be felt most when looking at the film's main antagonist. Edward Nygma, aka Riddler, portrayed by Paul Dano, looks to be a new take on the character. The film seemingly leans way more into the grisly psychology of a riddle-based serial rather than the bright green suits and dance numbers of Jim Carrey's version of this character. This film, while taking the name and signature riddling of the character, feels more like Zodiac Killer than Batman comic book villain. Nygma in the film is playing a bloody game with Robert Pattinson's hero as much as he is the audience. It's these Fincherian touches that have looked so many people onto the idea of the Batman, and surely the full scale of influence will come to bear when the film hits theaters. 90s grunge music. This one's an obvious one because they based Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne on Kurt Cobain. 90s grunge has probably been the most publicized influence on the Batman. Yes, this one does get a little literal with Nirvana's Something in the Way serving as the background for two of the film's release trailers. Release trailers, but it goes way beyond that. Director Matt Reeves has said he based his version of Bruce Wayne on a fictionalized version of Kurt Cobain. This Bruce Wayne is someone in his mid-20s who has been through a lot, and to cope, he spends his nights pouring his best punk rocker eyeliner and punching the living hell out of Gotham's criminals. Sure, Cobain never put on a cape and cowl, but he was a tragic figure, troll genius like Bruce Wayne. His late-night Gotham were the stages and studios across the world, and his punching criminals were making music and indulging in the lifestyle that he did. It is this balancing act of coping without going over the edge that has been core to Batman's story since the character's inception, and that seems to be on particular display in the Batman. In conclusion, the Batman, while looking totally brand new, also is nothing without that what came before it. It's a film that doesn't shy away from its influences, and its actors and crew have made that known from day one. And Randy, are you still there? Still there, Randy? Randy, are you still there? Randy. Still there, Randy? Randy? Now, everybody, the funny thing about there's actually something ironic about David Fincher's Seven, which is the fact that there's this fan theory that's been going on about it for years now that claims that David Fincher's Seven is secretly set in Gotham City. You still there, Ray? We still there, Ray? Hello? Still there, Ray? Still there, Ray? I can't hear you, Ray. Are you there still?
Yeah, here. I was just thinking.
Yeah. Did you hear what I was saying about all the different inspirations that were things that were used as inspiration for the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, including David Fincher's Seven.
Yeah, I was just thinking. Well, all I'm saying is, there's so many things that people take for granted in movies. Like they thank the stars, but they don't thank the people who write the movie out. Who they
Yeah,
don't even
Rank,
give them.
you probably know this, but there's this fan theory about about David Fincher's Seven that's been going on for years now, that claims that David Fincher's Seven is secretly set in Gotham City because of the fact that they never reveal what city the movie's actually set in, and also because of the fact that it does feel like something out of a Batman story, like Kevin Spacey's character, who's like the main villain of the movie, literally seems like a criminal, a villain from a Batman comic book. I mean, and like, have you ever noticed that about David Fincher's Seven? It literally does feel like something out of a Batman story. Like they never even mention the name of the city that the movie's based on, that the movie is set in, and and also Kevin Spacey's character literally does seem like a villain out of a Batman comic. Like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
I was just wondering. They went through all this to create a backdrop and a story for Batman, the Batman novel or the Batman movie that goes with
Yeah,
the book. So
and all these things are all these things that were used as inspiration all worked. Like the movie ended up being great and literally did feel like a great Batman story that where he and it was literally the first time that we've actually saw Batman. We actually got a live action Bruce Wayne using his detective skills. Do you think it's sad that for that we that they waited this long to do a live action Batman movie where Batman is actually using his detective skills?
Yeah, I didn't think that they were going to do it, but
And
sometimes.
in my opinion, Robert Pattinson's Batman just felt like the Batman that we all deserved, because his Batman was very unhinged, which is what Bruce Wayne would be in real life, because obviously, literally, he was an orphan. He was a kid who literally saw his parents get murdered right in front of him. Like, do you imagine how much damage that would do to a person mentally? Like, obviously, it would make them it would cause them to grow up to be a very unhinged, very dark and brooding person, full of lots of anger and rage. And that was exactly what Robert Pattinson's Batman was. He was an unhinged, very angry person. And Robert Pattinson literally captured that really well. He did. And guess what, everybody? You know all my superhero novels that I make, everybody, on Wattpad? Well, guess what? Every time I write a novel, I approach all my novels like they're movies. Like I'm working on a movie script. That's why all my novels are so good. Huh, Randy?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's it's really good that they invented that they did a Superman story based on the Batman we were supposed to get. But then I didn't like the campiness and
What?
the I didn't like the campiness that they try to portray Batman as being.
I got about in the '60s, what they did with the '60s Batman, played by Adam West. That was
Yeah,
campy.
the jokes and
Yeah, and then there was the
the
fact that they made the Val Kilmer Batman movie, Batman Forever, and the George Clooney Batman movie, Batman and Robin, more campy, like the '60s Batman TV show. Even though they were both supposed to still be sequels to the Michael Keaton Batman movies. I mean, it's dumb that they did that, but they that's because they got rid of Tim Burton and replaced him with Joe Schumacher.
yeah, you can't do that.
And it literally, if you watched all those, if you watched them, if you watched the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin right after watching the 1989 Batman movie and Batman Returns, you'll notice that the Batman Forever and Batman Robin really both feel like they're set, like they're not even part of the same Batman movie trilogy as Michael Keaton's Batman movies. Like they're so different in tone. And guess what? Yeah, and like Randy, like remember the first time you ever read one of my novels, one of my Wattpad novels, and you were surprised at how great of a writer and storyteller I was? Remember that?
Yeah, I was like, I just didn't really, I didn't really have a take on Robert Pattinson's Batman because I just didn't like the way it was done, to be honest.
Like, yeah, they were going for a version of Batman that was even more darker than the Christian Bale Batman movies. And but in my opinion, Robert Pattinson did a great job of playing a younger Bruce Wayne who had been Batman for only 2 years so far. Yeah, remember his Batman had was still in the early days of being Batman. Like the Robert Pattinson movie is really set like during his second year of being Batman. I'll be right back here, but I have to use the restroom.
Yep. So I wonder where Savannah is. Mm. Okay. Yeah. It's like, so,
Randy, you're unplugging that. You're unplugging that cord.
No, I'm not.
Making my phone. But I think it's plugged in.
all right, it's plugged all the way in. It's plugged all the way in. Your cord is plugged all the way in, though.
That's why I don't have the love so much. Over here, it's plugged in. So wait over here, you're like plugged in.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
I heard what you said. And are you going to do? Are you on the phone?
Yeah.
Are you on the phone?
No.
Okay, I'm back, everybody. Randy, are you still there? Alexa, fireplace off.
Hello, what's up?
I'm back.
Hey Savannah, what's up? How you
And
doing?
hey, Ray,
What's up?
remember when you read one of my Constantine novels on Wattpad for the first time, and you were shocked at how great of a writer I am and how great of a storyteller I am?
I read it. What's up?
You remember how shocked you were?
What did you do?
What I do?
I said, what did you do?
Nothing. Nothing. I didn't do anything. I just went. I went into the Hey, what's up, Savannah? How you doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray,
What's up?
wouldn't it be crazy if I was actually chosen to write an official movie script for a live action Batman movie? Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, if that happened, I would write a really good script because you already know how great of a writer and storyteller I am. And I think I could definitely pull off writing the script for a really good live action Batman movie because of how well I understand the character and like what the character of Bruce Wayne is all about as a person. Like, would it be crazy if I was cast as a live action version of Batman in a live action Batman movie or TV show? How would you react if that happened?
Well, actually, if that happens, I really can't tell you because
Look,
I don't know anybody who have been chosen to do that.
if I was cast as a Bruce Wayne, I think I could pull off playing a really good live action Bruce Wayne / Batman. And it turns out there's actually a character trait that I actually share with Bruce Wayne. Anger. He has a bad temper, and so do I. And also, and the thing is that so many people forget about Bruce Wayne is that he feels more comfortable being Batman than he does when he's Bruce Wayne. Like, in that he basically sees Bruce Wayne as just a facade, just an act they puts on during the day when he's not Batman, and he sees Batman as his true self, because Bruce Wayne and I think I could pull off playing Bruce Wayne / Batman in live action. I mean, I understand the character so well, and also there have been a couple of times in the past where some people have told me that I actually look like Bruce Wayne because the way my face is, and how I could easily make myself look angry or pissed off when I frown because of the way my face is.
I was
And
like,
in my opinion, David Fincher 7, in my opinion, there is a strong possibility that theory about David Fincher 7 secretly being set in Gotham City is possible because implausible because they never say what the name of the city that the movie's set in, and also Kevin Spacey's character literally seems so much like a villain pulled full villain that had been taken straight from a Batman comic, and also, and literally, David Phoenix 7 literally seems like a story taken from a Batman comic book, and
People are stupid. What can I say?
what?
I was talking to this one guy about comics, right? He pulls out this Green Lantern comic, right? That he pulls out this Green Lantern comic that he has, right? Still in the plastic, and he showed it to me. And the date on this thing is circa November 5th, 1924. November 5th.
Yeah, everyone knows that that couldn't have been right.
That's what I'm saying. November 5th, 1924.
Because because I know for sure a fact that Green Lantern was introduced in the 40s in the form of Alan Scott. You know, before they changed the entire comic book and introduced Hal Jordan.
Nah, but the thing is, this comic book was set in like this parallel universe where Ted Kord was the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. No, this is not right. You know, but I couldn't argue with it. I couldn't argue with it because it exists. I can't argue it.
Yeah, everybody, like I said, every time I write one of my superhero novels on Wattpad, I always approach them like I'm writing a movie script. That's why my novels are so good and seem like they were written by a professional writer. Even though I'm not a professional writer, I'm actually, that's all fan fiction that I write. Yeah. And one of the things I like to do when I'm doing like a story like about like John Constantine, for example, like my Constantine novels, I try to bring something new to the character while still staying true to who the character is. And yeah,
I don't know.
and and if you read, if you actually, and everybody, if you actually go and read one of the Hellblazer comic books that are about John Constantine, you'll notice that many, and I mean many of them, are very boring. So what I did when I started making my Constantine novels, a few years ago on Wattpad, I chose to bring something new to the character and do something different, which was having my Constantine novels be set in the future, in the far future, and it'd be something that you've never seen before, while also having them be set in the Snyderverse. But the thing is, they're set in the Snyderverse. They're also set in an altered version of the timeline that was caused by Barry Allen accidentally Well, that was caused when Barry Allen, stopped Flashpoint from becoming permanent. And you all know that we all know that even if you watch the Flash TV show, you notice that even though he stopped Flashpoint from becoming permanent and stopped it from causing him to lose all his memories of being the Flash, he still caused some minor changes to the timeline. Yeah, even though he changed the timeline back to how it was, to how it should be, he still caused some slight changes to happen. Like, for example, John Diggle somehow before Flashpoint, John Diggle had a son, but after Barry Allen, fixed the timeline and changed it back to where it was, John Diggle suddenly had a daughter instead of a son. No, actually, he had a daughter originally, but now he has a son instead. And also before Flashpoint, Cisco's brother was alive, but after Barry Allen saved the timeline and changed it back to how it was, Cisco's brother was suddenly now dead. How messed up is that, Ray? So obviously, yeah, because like no matter how many times you try to change the timeline back to the way it was, they'll still somehow make some minor changes to it anyway. Because it won't fully be exactly the same as it was before. Yeah, before. So
you'll still mess it up because
and one thing I did with my concept novels was that since my concept novels are set in the future and also in a version of the future that was caused by Barry Allen saving the timeline and taking it back to the way it was and starting Flashpoint, superheroes now coexist with comic book versions of themselves. Like, there's now suddenly full-on comic books about Superman and the Justice League and John Constantine and all that. And of course, many superheroes see it as really stupid, in that it's see a lot of these comic books as being somewhat correct about things that happen with them, but not 100%. But a lot of these comic books are about things that are different from how they actually happened. You know what I'm talking about, right, Ray?
Yeah, I know.
And like these comic books depict things that happen, like with John Constantine and other DC Comics characters, but these events, these comic books are a lot different than how these events actually happened and how these events end up going, went down. And there are a lot of these events that happen in these comics are different from how depicted, different than how they actually went down. Than how these superheroes actually experienced them, and even characters like John Constantine are not happy about this, and are actually sick of these comics being made about them, and also John Constantine is and how some superheroes see comic books as a kind of an insult to who they are as a person.
Hello, Franco McCoy.
Hey, Frank McCoy. Like, yeah, if you actually read my Constantine novels, you'll notice that I did a lot of stuff to make them seem more fun and cool than the actual Hellblazer comic books. Because if you read some of the Hellblazer comic books, you'll notice that a lot of them are very boring in tone and stuff. And one thing I did with John Constantine is when you first meet him in my first Constantine novel, he's actually doing underground cage fighting for money in his spare time. Do you remember that, Ray?
In his spare time.
Yeah, and he and one thing I did with him was I made him as someone who's very cynical and someone who sees the bad side of everything, which works really well with him as a character because he's already an unhappy person to begin with. So he's already a tragic character, and life just shits on him all the time. I mean, he's always alone. No matter what he does, no matter how many lives he saves, he's still damned to hell. Basically. Yeah.
The language? Explicit?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. No matter what he does, he's still going to go, down to the bad place where the devil is. Like, no matter how many lives he saves, he's still destined. That's still destined to happen to him. And he's not he's just a tragic character, and life, just his life just sucks. And I have to admit, remember in my Justice League Dark novel where how John Constantine and Batman first meet? Remember Bruce Wayne basically forces John Constantine to form the Justice League Dark, and at one point John Constantine literally hits Bruce Wayne in the face.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Wayne's trying to control everything, and even though he knows nothing about sorcery and black magic and the dark arts and the supernatural. Yeah, because remember, John Constantine is a guy who's very who's a big like a loner type, like so unhappy person, and no matter how many superhero teams he becomes part of, he still ends up like by himself in the end. And also, yeah, like no matter how many lives John Constantine saves, he's still the same con artist slash exorcist slash demon altar that he's always been, and there's a straight up unlikable person who still somehow seems likable, even though he's not a likable person. And I think I really captured that very well with my Constantine novels, Ray. And just imagine, it makes you wonder how he would have felt when he met Batman for the first time. I bet Batman really got on his nerves, right? Don't you think so? Don't you think that Batman probably got on John Constantine's nerves when he first met each other in the comics? When he did their first crossover comic book together, right? Don't you think so?
Yeah,
I mean, because Bruce Wayne is known for being very controlling, and is known for doing things done a certain way, and wants to control everything. And that would obviously get on John Constantine's nerves. I mean, no wonder John Constantine punched him in the face remember John Constantine did that in the Injustice Gods Among Us comic book that was released as a tie-in with the video game, Ray?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that's just something that John Constantine would do, because Batman would literally make anybody angry with him, because Bruce Wayne is just a straight up, very controlling, very dark and brooding, angry person who doesn't take anybody's crap and is always wants to control everything. And John Constantine is this loner type with a very cynical British sense of humor, because he's British. And although John Constantine is the guy who literally has this I don't care kind of personality and attitude towards everything, and John Constantine is will really say what's on his mind, doesn't care what he says. Yeah, John Constantine's literally the type of person who would smoke a cigarette and then blow cigarette smoke in someone's face just for the hell of it. Yeah, I mean, just because. I mean, that's literally just how he is. He's just a straight up jerk. He's literally that's the typical British jerk, basically. I mean, and
What?
and John Constantine is just your typical is pretty much not a team player to begin with. So, and the fact that Batman basically forced him to form the Justice League Dark is just messed up to begin with. Don't you think so, Ray? I mean, think of it. John Constantine is just a guy who wants to be left alone. And then Bruce Wayne Batman comes along and basically forces him to form a version of the Justice League that specializes in protecting the world from supernatural from the supernatural. And of course, John Constantine pretty much wants nothing to do with it. Doesn't even want to do it, and is just angry that because Bruce Wayne's basically forcing him to do something he doesn't want to do. and John Constantine probably sees Bruce Wayne as this typical billionaire guy who just happens to be a vigilante dressed like a bat. I mean, and yeah, and John Constantine is like the most is one of those more very unlikable anti-heroes. Like he's like if you think about John Constantine and Dr. Fate are basically the DC universe's version of Doctor Strange, basically. I mean, literally, like Doctor Strange, John Constantine is a straight up arrogant jerk, basically. A very arrogant man who is just very arrogant and rude and
Then there is the possibility also of the fact that here you go for
and yeah.
So if you ever want to break through the rules of etiquette of always a plain color, like boring color like dressing, not sorry, but you'll not find it on a website. You need to ask the link because then I will be able to Bettina gave a link. What do I need to do with the link?
And if any of you are interested in reading some of my novels on Wattpad, I'll put the link for them in the chat. So yeah, so you can read some of them.
And we'll be able to give you the link of the website. Sorry, this is more apathic now this evening. Yeah, no, that you're more in being mode. Just because of their arbitrary that is upset, that it's making you a little bit more need to chill. Because we like so much more in do mode and not in be mode, just being. And we feel guilty with the fact that we say, you know what?
I'll put the link to my newest. No, actually, I'll put the link to my newest novel that I'm working on in the chat.
Do not accept who we are, and there comes the whole string of issues. I am talking too much. Sorry about that. Do you find what? That I am talking. Should let other people talk, or I step out. You already told me ice cream can help for relaxation. Bella, that's crazy. Yeah. Ice cream on the side. Sugar and fat together make our head ever more addicted with things.
That was literally not good. That was literally. That was literally not good. Okay. So what's going on?
Yeah, so there you guys go. I put the link to my new novel that I'm working on in chat. My new novel that I'm working on is based on Ben Affleck's unmade standalone Batman movie. You know, the Batman movie that Ben Affleck was originally going to direct and star in. You know, before Matt Reeves decided to change the entire movie and basically turn the movie into the Robert Pattinson Batman movie instead. Yeah. Yeah, but remember, unlike a lot of my other novels on Wattpad, my new novel is connected to my Constantine novels. And yeah, and since my new novel is based on Ben Affleck's standalone Batman movie that ended up not being made, my new novel is gonna be about Ben Affleck's Batman basically having to stop the Joker who has taken over Arkham Asylum and having to face many villains who have caused him a lot of trouble and trauma over the years, and while also having to face some of his demons that you know yeah 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 so sorry, it's been in 2 hours, right? Yeah, but I think I have to go now, everybody, because I do have to work tomorrow. But I'll see you next time. And please check out my new novel. Just click on the link that I put in the chat. Peace,
Yep.
everybody.
Peace, buddy. Okay. Now I guess I'll.